Welcome back, everyone. You know, adding some color to your home can not only give it a whole new look, it can also give it a new feel. The best part, you can do it yourself for less. Today we have painting tips from Ace Hardware's Lisa Mandel. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
We were just talking about how important it is to do the right things before you paint.
Absolutely.
What are those things?
Well, the first thing you need to remember is you're going to have blemishes on your wall. Day-to-day wear and tear, you're going to have oil, you're going to have dirt. For those of us who have children who bounce basketballs off the walls,
exactly.
You know, you're going to have asphalt, and you need to really clean that wall. And the first and foremost thing you want to do is you want to use a product like TSP. TSP is going to strip that wall of all that yuck and film and bacteria.
You just use like a sponge?
You want to wear gloves, and you want to be well ventilated because it is a strong chemical, it really is. And then you're going to want to do something like patch your holes. You know, you're going to move pictures and frames, and so you're going to want to use patch and these little spackling tools here, and things that you're going to need to use, these utility knives and things. Yeah, you're going to want to throw your tarps down because the next important thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to tape your walls. Oh,
I think that's the worst part about painting, but you have to do it right.
But if you don't do it right, you're going to have bleed-through lines. All of us these days have textured walls, you know, the bumpy walls.
Yeah.
And you put paint on and you think you've got a straight line and it's run underneath the paint. And there's a great way to solve that problem. And if you look right over here, we have some caulking in a tube.
Like this right here?
Absolutely. And what you would do with that is you would take a wet rag and you would wet it down. You take that caulking once your tape goes along the straight line, and you're going to take that caulking and you're going to put it on and then wipe it off really fast because it seals that tape to the wall.
Interesting.
So then you start start painting your corners and your straight edges, and you pull that tape off and you've got a perfectly straight line.
Oh my gosh, I love that tip. I've never heard it before, and believe me, I've painted a lot.
I love to paint, so believe me, it's a time-consuming process, but without it, you won't like your finish.
Okay, what's next?
Next, you're going to want to choose the roller that's great for your wall. And you'll notice we have 4 different rollers here.
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, it depends on the texture of your wall. Some walls, like this display we have here, they're textured, but they're really rather smooth. And so you would want to use one of the smaller rollers, the smaller nap rollers. They're not as full, they're not as bushy, and they won't absorb as much paint. When you get to the bigger textured walls that have the bigger openings and holes and areas in them, you're going to want to use a bigger roller, as this one right here, because it's going to absorb enough paint that as you roll it on that wall, it's adhering to the wall.
Okay.
And first and foremost, let me step back just a second. You're going to really want to use a primer. Once you've cleaned it, once you've patched it, you want to use a primer. And the reason for the primer is the primer has bonding agents in it, and it allows your paint to better adhere to the wall and give you that smoother, cleaner finish.
Yeah, and you might as well prime it because otherwise you'll have to use 2 or 3 coats of paint.
And that's just it. You know, primer is slightly cheaper. It is tinted to match the color of the paint that you're painting on the wall. And the most important thing is what people should really understand is you wouldn't paint a car without putting a layer of primer on it. You wouldn't want to do your walls the same way. Pretend it's a canvas, and you're the artist. All artists prep their canvases before they do their paints. Your home is the same way. It is your castle.
And you're going to live with it for a long time.
And when you mess it up, you will be living with it.
All right, exactly. What's next, Jerry? So you have some other things here.
The next things you might want to do is make sure you know the type of wall you have and the type of finish you want on that wall.
I always get confused by that. Like, you know, do you want matte? Do you want a little shine? I mean,
well, a little shine would be a satin finish.
Okay.
The most popular finish that we sell in our store is the eggshell, because it's a step above the flat, it's washable, it's a little more durable, and its surface coverage is really well. The flat paint is great if you're going to be putting it inside your garage, if you're going to be using it in a room that you're going to be repainting often, like a child's room. It changes from nursery to toddler.
See, no, that surprises me because I thought flat paint gets like a whole bunch of fingerprints and that kind of stuff on it.
Ace makes their own paint. Ace owns the factory, they make their own paint, and it is great paint. It's award-winning paint.
Well, again, all you have to do is go down to any Ace store, and they're going to help you out. To find an Ace Hardware near you, or for more information, just go to acehardwarephoenix.com. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
All right. Coming up next, everyone, Janice.